we're gonna review the impeccable romantic comedy, Paramount Plus original.
Three
midnight
romantic comedies.
Yeah, oh yeah, 3. Well, we're gonna start
Valentine's Day, baby.
Yeah, it is. We're getting to Valentine's Day. So we're gonna start with At Midnight, which of course is known around film and Twitter, TikTok for the movie that our boy Soups has a cameo in. So big shout out to Soups for making his way out to the big screen. Unfortunately, the movie sucks. Tyler, we'll start with you because I think you gave it the lowest rating of 0.5 star out of 5. You really didn't like this movie. It doesn't matter if we spoil. I could not give a fuck. So go for it.
Again, and just to reiterate before we even get into this, like everyone likes to bitch and hate on Soups on the internet, but genuinely like awesome that he was in this movie. Like cool. Like I know he was only in for a couple seconds. He just had a small cameo, but that's awesome, man. Like. When I saw this and he started promoting it, I was like, "Oh, this like the poster looks terrible. This movie's probably not
like what did you expect it to be any good?
But no, like I mean, but what I was saying is like there's still like Whitney Cummings and Anders Holm and like people that I recognize. So I was like, okay, this is like he was like part of a movie that had some like legit people in it. So like, congrats to him. That's the last nice thing I'll say about it.
I don't want to, my review also to be like shout out Soups, whatever. I like Soups, but I know people don't. That's fine. Soups is very much the Joker meme. That's like, I could post a shitty take and nobody cares, but Soups posts his take and everyone loses their mind. And it's exactly that, man. You see it all the time on Twitter and it's like, shut the fuck up. He's a 21-year-old kid. Like, grow up and like get a life. Who gives a shit, man? Like when he did all his stuff like that, like people tried to cancel him for. He was like an 18-year-old kid. Like everyone's stupid. The shit I was doing at 18, like the fact that I wasn't online is a blessing to me. So it's like just shut the fuck up, man.
Back to At Midnight.
Sorry.
Just so like I don't know. I'd say it wouldn't be a crazy take to say like Cam and I probably watch or are more like the rom-com connoisseurs. Like we kind of more enjoy those type of movies. And for me, if you're gonna make corny rom-coms is not a bad thing. If your rom-com is corny, but you can make it like funny or have a good story. Like I think the perfect example is the movie Cam and I watched Falling for Christmas, which is just as corny as At Midnight, maybe even more corny. But I genuinely got laughs out of Falling for Christmas because it just totally leans into that. It's so ridiculous, so funny with the jokes. Whereas At Midnight's corny, but also not funny, has an unlikable lead. And really for me, like what I said in my letterbox review, I gave it a 0.5 star just because like the romance there just didn't hit, the comedy didn't hit. Plus it was corny, so it's really not doing anything right. But Whitney Cummings being in this movie is just like weird. Like she's a well-established comedian. Just like what did she like owe someone a favor? And then Anders Holm, who like I know because he went to Wisconsin. He was in Workaholics, like big time comedy dude. And he was just wasted here. Like they gave him a couple little dashes of comedy, but he's like I mean, Workaholics is a cult classic comedy show that people love, and he's shown that he can be like a very, very funny guy. So the fact that they like had him in this rom-com but just didn't really give him much comedy at all, and he was just like in the movie a weird amount, like he's like in it and then just like disappeared and then like kind of came back, like it was just kind of a weird production that was thrown together.
Is that the actor that the main
plays
actor?
The superhero?
Yeah, the one that plays the superhero.
That like she's supposed to fake the romance with, but like so I feel like with him and Whitney Cummings are the only two that I recognize in this, and the fact that they were in it so randomly just felt to me like they were just like signed to some production studio that was also attached to this. So like their contract said like, hey, like there's this movie, like we need you to go be in it for a bit. And I don't know, like I said, there's nothing much to go into here, but for me, a rom-com has to either be super corny, good romance, or funny, like one of the three, and it just didn't do any of the three well. So for me, it was a 0.5 star. Shout out Soups, but this sucked.
Yeah, we'll reiterate shout out Soups because this is not against him. This is just a bad movie.
Yeah, I feel like we have to preface it because he hyped it up so much.
Yeah, he hyped the movie up a lot. Just everything Tyler said, there's no need for me to even talk, but it's almost as if they had a checklist of every single romantic comedy cliche and they just made sure they clicked every single one. And one thing that Tyler, you actually mentioned in your letterbox review that I completely agree with is this was such an unbelievable romance that it just like completely checked me out. If in any world, if a hotel manager walks in on one of the biggest stars naked, that guy is going to jail. I don't care what anyone says. That guy's going to jail. He's losing his job. He's never talking to his family again.
Yeah.
So it was just such an unbelievable romance. And then I also feel like, and this is such a stupid criticism for a Paramount Plus original rom-com, but it was rushed so quickly. The scene where he sees her, or he almost sees her naked, not even 10 minutes later are they like sharing their first kiss on the dance floor. And that just like, it was just like, is this actress so down bad after being cheated on that she's just going to pick up the first dude that sees her naked? I don't know. It was just such a poor attempt at a romantic comedy, but you know, I didn't expect anything going into a Paramount Plus original film. I will say there was one part that did make me chuckle a lot, and it was the guy from Workaholics that Tyler said, the scene where Monica Barbaro's character is like, I need more space, and he just starts running away and going, is this more space? I actually did. I laughed at that. That was the one part that genuinely made me laugh. I thought that was really fucking funny. But other than that, shitty movie.
Yeah, like I said, The Last of Us, I'm not gonna just keep harping on everything you guys said, but I will say this week we were like, yeah, let's reveal the ReelTok collection. We don't have any things to talk about, and then like we have like 5 reviews this week, whatever. But Monica Barbaro, I really liked her in this actually, and I really like her in general. I've only seen her in this, and she's Phoenix in Top Gun Maverick, which she's good in her small role. I'm glad she's getting roles. I think she was good in this. But I really fucking hate Diego Boneta is his name. God, he sucked in this thing, and I think he was terrible, and I don't think he was like very charming, and all the line delivery was super awkward, and just I really didn't like him in this. And then I looked up his filmography because I didn't know if he was in anything, and he's in apparently Father of the Bride, which is a movie I started and didn't finish from last year. It's on like HBO Max or something. I watched like the first 14 minutes, and it's pretty tough to make me not continue a movie, but that felt like the like just most boring movie ever. So those are my 2 like takes from this, is that like I really liked one main actress and really hated the other main actor. I gave this movie an 18 out of 100. It's like a 1 out of 5 stars. I don't know. Everything you guys said. The last Paramount Plus original movie I watched was Infinite, and that thing was piss, but a little bit better than this, I guess.
So the one reason I love your 100-point scale is because an 18 out of 100 sounds so much worse than like a 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a
one last like thing to touch on for this movie. So just like for people, because like I mean I don't recommend people watch this, but just for how unbelievable this romance is. So the girl in the romance is like a star of like a superhero universe of films, and like Soup's cameo is just him like reviewing or talking about like the
he's Soups. He's
literally
like,
Soups.
He's him.
But he is.
I'm
him.
shocked they didn't just give him his YouTube.
Yeah, but like so the romance basically, like she's like the star of like a cinematic universe of superheroes that's like well known, popular.
She's basically like Scarlett Johansson.
No,
like,
so like she's Scarlett Johansson. Because she's like the star of not just a movie, but a cinematic universe of superheroes. And then like a hotel lobby boy like goes into her room to change out her towels, and that's how the romance starts. So like Scarlett Johansson and a hotel lobby boy. And then the funniest part about this is that he takes her home to his family, and he's like, nah, she's just a friend, and like acting like she's not important. But it's like a random ass hotel towel changing boy brings home Scarlett Johansson, and he's like telling his family, he's like, no, like, nah, she's like not important. Like, we're not like that. Like, dude, if you bring like, you're gonna hype her up. Like, you're gonna be like, yeah, of course we're dating. We're getting engaged next week. Like, it's
worth noting. Sorry, it's worth noting that like Anders Holm in this, who's like we'll say the Robert Downey Jr. in this universe, because he's like the other guy in this cinematic universe. He's nominated for an Oscar at this time, but we don't know what for. So I am under the impression that he got Best Actor for this Super Society. And you get like a small clip from the movie. This is a tough universe if that's getting an Oscar nom. This is worse than our universe. This makes our Oscars look like the fucking Pulitzer Prize. Like, it's incredible, man.
Yeah, the whole movie was just a bunch of red flags of just shitty romantic comedy cliches. And
I don't have any notes for this one. I have notes for the next
we'll wrap it up there. Again, Soups, good shit. Your movie sucked, unfortunately. We'll move on.
I love you.
To I don't even know which one of us watched Somebody I Used to Know and Your Place or Mine. Both of you did. All right.
Yeah.
We're the
move
rom-com guys of this pod.
Yeah, I have it watched someplace or mine. I'm going to, and that'll be my 10th 2023 movie.
Okay. All right, let's start with somebody I used to know since you both watched it. Let's hear your quick thoughts on what I assume to be a bad Prime Video original film.
It's actually not as horrible as this, and I think people like it a lot more than me. I gave it like a 41 out of 100 or 2 out of 5. And I think that's pretty low from what I'm seeing on Letterboxd. It's like a 3 average. For about an hour and 20 minutes of this movie, I fucking hated it. I was so mad because this movie is setting itself up. That was a little bit earlier in the movie, but yeah, sure. It's got a lot of random nudity, but we can get to that. God, for the first hour and a half, it's setting itself up to be this, these two women are wanting to pursue something so much more, but they're stuck at home because this deadbeat guy refuses to leave his family. And I'll figure out his name. I already forget it, but whatever. He refuses to leave his family. So Jay Ellis is Sean. And that's so he wanted Allison Brie to stay home with him, and they were in a relationship. She went off to LA to do her own show, which good. You're a fucking documentary star. Fuck this guy. God. And then Kiersey Clemens, who plays Cassidy, who's his new girl, is a punk rock star. We'll get to that. Is a punk rock star who wants to go tour, but no, she's going to stay at home for this guy to be a stay-at-home mom. And I'm so tired. And as a married guy, and again, this isn't anything against people who aren't married. It's so fucking annoying to watch these movies that just make the guy be hey, this is my end game, is marrying this guy. Fuck that guy. He's a bum living in with his parents still. And he works for his dad's company, and it pissed me off so much. And then the last hour actually subverts that, or last 20 minutes subverts that. And the guy ends up being hey, I suck and I want to go touring. And he doesn't end up getting back with Allison Brie, which again, this movie was tracking to be a half star for me, a 4 out of 100 probably, because of how much I hated it and hated that just basic ass cliche where the guy is the savior or whatever. But it subverts it. He ends up with Cassidy, who's the girl he's engaged to at the time. And they go on tour with their punk rock band. And again, like I said, we'll get to that because I have notes on that. But I want Tyler. Yeah, you'll love it. Oh, also, shout out Haley Joel Osment. He's hilarious in this.
Dude, yeah, I feel ever since he was a child star in all those M. Night movies, he's just had such fun roles. I don't know if you've seen Silicon Valley, where he's just a tech billion. Every movie I feel I see Haley Joel Osment, and now he's just having a blast. So he went from child star, just now he just has fun in his roles. Yeah. But yeah, I'll get my quick thoughts. So basically, at a high level, this movie's Allison Brie, like you said, leaves this guy, but then she comes back to her hometown and rekindles things with him, but finds out he's about to get married. So kind of the way this is tracking, like Cam said, the first hour, 20 minutes, is Allison Brie's coming back home and is going to just absolutely ruin this guy's relationship with his fiance. Going to ruin this guy's relationship with his fiance, and instead, it's tracking, she's going to get back together with him, but then kind of what it all is she goes there to quote unquote blow up his life. Everyone's what are you doing? You're gonna ruin this marriage. But what you actually end up realizing is she does blow up his life, but in a good way, by making him realize he's just a shitty dude and needs to let his woman be more free, and then it all works out. But what I think is funny is so she goes home and she was with this guy for a long time, so his parents know her, and then his parents are oh, you should film the wedding. You're a big time
Hollywood. On her iPhone 14. No, right? Yeah,
you're a big time Hollywood videographer. We would love to have such a talented professional be filming this wedding, and she's just standing there with her iPhone. I'm what are you doing here,
dude? Yeah, that's so bad.
But it's directed by Dave Franco. I thought it was his directorial debut, but it's his second film he's directed. Allison Brie's his wife.
What else has he done?
The Rental. I've seen that.
The Rental 2020
It's not very good. It's not very good.
But I like Dave Franco.
Yeah, and like Cam said, so of the 3 rom-coms I watched this weekend, this was the most believable in terms of story. It's not great, but the other 2 are just so just so far-fetched and stupid. But like Cam said, also this is a movie generally people are liking, and I don't think it's a bad movie by any stretch. I give it a 2.5 star.
It probably pissed me off more than most. It's not a big deal. It's just
to me I don't know. If you want to get like, I'll let you go into your nose because really the main thing is like it was just a weird movie. Like it was written
also
weird.
yeah. So
the nudity's
sorry,
weird.
The nudity is weird. This is like Cassidy, who's marrying Sean now, the new girl, the new fiance. She's like estranged from her parents. She doesn't invite her parents. Then fucking Allison Brie goes and invites her parents to the wedding, and that just pissed. And then it like I said, the first hour 20 is very straightforward, and maybe I should like it more because it subverts. But I think the first hour 20 pissed me off so much. It starts off with like this new fiance is the worst. Fuck you! Don't go to this person's wedding. Like, you suck for this. You're the ex-girlfriend. Fuck off. You shouldn't be in this person's life anymore now that he's getting married. If you guys had that like big of a connection, like it's fine if you're friends and you guys dated for a little and you've been friends forever. But no, you came back to town to hook up with him again. And then now you find out that he's getting married, and then you go to the wedding and basically ruin everything at first and then make everything better, whatever. I'd still fucking hate you. Just like if one of like Emma's ex-boyfriends came to our wedding and wanted to get back together with her, I'd be like, fuck off. I don't care if I'm the bad guy. I'm gonna punch you in the face, you fucking loser.
to that point, I will say that the friends did a good job because all the friends were every time she would show up, all like the friends of the guy were like, "What the fuck you doing here? Like, leave." Yeah. And speaking of that, like just because it's like kind of a community reunion, because if you guys watch Community, like Abed is like the best friend of like the guy, so like there's and Allison Brie obviously Community, but yeah, like shout out to the friends at least because Cam, like you said, bonkers that they did that, but at least the friends are like, "Fuck you, leave."
Moving on to like my not pissed off, just funny comments. So as I mentioned, she is a punk rock singer in a band that's going on tour. Here is the opening line to the song, and I listened to it, and I always have subtitles on, so I listened to it, and I'm reading the subtitles as I'm going. I'm like, no fucking way. So I had to rewind and write it down. You're so punk rock. How'd you get so punk rock? You're really so punk rock. So fucking punk rock. 2 times. So fucking punk rock again. So really punk rock. That's the opening 5 lines to this is punk rock in every single line, and that ruined me. I was dying laughing. And then yeah, when they're getting, you think Jay Ellis and Kiersey Clemens, sorry if I don't pronounce any of these names right, are getting in, they're in their fight. It's the classic, like, we're going to fight and break up. So then he goes to Allison Brie's room, and they're you think they're going to get back together, but then she tells him that her show got picked back up by the studio. So she's leaving. She's not staying for him. And he says, "This is classic you." Again, just fuck you, dude. Get out of here. She has a life. You live with your parents. Piss off, man. And then also, Haley Joel Osment was the best man. He's Sean's brother, and he starts off with the best man speech with, as Michael Scott from The Office would say. And again, it's just such a movie thing that it's like, we know who Michael Scott is. You don't have to preface from The Office. Everyone knows he's from The Office. And then I have this right here. Prime Video tweeted, your wedding speech opens like this, or when a wedding speech opens like this, it's going to be good. No, fuck you. This is the most this is the worst writing in any movie ever. You don't have to preface who Michael Scott is. Those are my 3 points. Move on.
Yeah. So, sorry. And you didn't see Your Place or Mine, right?
No. You got it.
Okay, so we'll roll into that one because I was the only one who saw it. So I'll touch on it quick. So there's another Netflix rom-com, just like You People, which You People, Cam and I both agree, everyone agrees on the reviews that the romance is just so unbelievable. Like, it would just never work. Which is funny. There's a commonality here between that and Your Place or Mine, because Your Place or Mine also is another Netflix rom-com that came out 2 weeks after You People, with another just stupidly unbelievable romance. So basically, Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon hooked up in 2003, and then Ashton Kutcher's a hot shot, so he moves to New York City, and he says the reason he leaves because they're both in LA, then he leaves for New York City, and he says the reason is because he's afraid of earthquakes. So he leaves in 2003, and they basically never see each other again, but they talk from time to time, text, call, keep in touch. And then 20 years later, she has to go to New York City for a class she has to get for her accounting degree or something to move up in her job. But basically, she couldn't get anyone to babysit her kids. So then Ashton Kutcher's hey, you come to New York City to your class, and I'll go all the way to LA and babysit your kid. So then he goes there, does a classic thing. Like Reese Witherspoon's a classic mom, like, oh, no eating any bad food, no doing anything dangerous. And Ashton Kutcher goes there. He's like, hell yeah, like we're going to eat pizza. And I'm going to make you try it for the hockey team. We're going to go to like hockey games. Like just classic, just like total opposite type of parent. And then Reese Witherspoon goes to New York City and does her class and meets guys there. And it's just like basically they flip spots for the entire movie. And this is almost like a 2-hour movie. So rom-com should never be that long. But the fact that this is a 2-hour movie and like an hour 45 of it is them not even in the same, they're literally on the different coasts of America. And then the last like 15 minutes, they like meet up in the airport after her kid, of course, gets like a major injury playing hockey because he let her play hockey, let him play hockey. So then she's like freaks out and comes home. Then all of a sudden, like 15 minutes, they just like all make up and like they decide like move in with each other and they're like going to get married. And it's just horribly unbelievable. But I think like the funny thing is with both Netflix rom-coms this year, so there was like the news that broke with You People that Jonah Hill and I don't know the name of who his girlfriend or ended up being wife in the movie was, but their kiss was CGI, like they never actually kissed in real life.
Is that true? I thought that was a meme.
It's true. No,
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
So they
like
never
the
actually
Spider-Man
kissed.
Far From Home meme, if you
Which
guys
is like
really
the funniest
weird.
thing because like everyone before that news came out was like, this is the most unbelievable romance that could never happen. And then just all devil's advocates would be silent. So they're like, yeah, they actually never even kissed on set. They CGI'd that. So then Your Place or Mine was also all over social media.
Why?
What an
Ashton Kutcher
interesting
and Reese
take,
Witherspoon and all of their press tours were always like standing away from each other,
So-
awkward, never like close and touchy. And it's just like weird, like like there's got to be a theme here you got to notice, Netflix. Like if both your co-stars like have no chemistry with each other, the movie's going to show that. And it's just wasn't great, just wasn't very funny. Just another classic like corny rom-com where like the two are just complete polar opposites that just should never work out, but then like they just randomly do. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I gave it like a 2.5 out of 10 for 1.5 stars. But yeah, so like weird that Netflix CGI'd a kiss. Weird that Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher were like distant from each other on the red carpet. And then I know you weren't planning on it. If you wanted to touch on You real quick, but it just fits into my thing here is like for You also like
we're late. You's fine.
yeah, okay,
Move on.
but I was just saying like You for
Seth
Penn
doesn't like it.
Badgley says he's not going to do any like sex scenes anymore because he's respectful to his like woman. So like a lot of weird things going on. A lot of people are pissed off about those things, and yeah, it's just weird. And I don't know. A lot of people are pissed about the Penn Badgley.
All those people sit at home and jerk off all night. They don't have a real relationship. Shut up, people.
No, it's like actually like Hollywood people are saying like men like this is so stupid these days. Like it's not. But I mean the thing is
That's why all you Hollywood people are getting divorces.
Yeah, but they're
Like
actors,
Machine
though.
Gun Kelly and Megan Fox are getting a divorce right now. Or whatever.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was
there's
nuts.
reason for it. Maybe
But
Penn Badgley doesn't want that.
I just think it's weird how he won't like have sex. I'm like fake having sex, but he's like fine just murdering people. Like that's okay.
Not the same. I think when you have sex, sorry, we don't have
True,
to get
killing
into
people's worse than sex.
No, I'm not arguing with that, but like he's not actually killing people. First off, so like
He's not
but-
actually having
having
sex.
sex with people.
No, but you actually like kiss
Yeah.
and you actually like show passion and stuff like that.
Yeah, but he's an actor.
I wouldn't
He's
want to
signed-
watch.
he's signed to be an
I don't think
actor.
Emma would want to watch me do that, and I wouldn't really want to watch like
don't-
her do that.
Don't be an actor in romances then.
I think he got in this role and then got married, so now he's like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be like doing
you
this
shouldn't
anymore.
have signed up to be an actor then.
Oh,
Okay.
you fucking
We're all tie this
No.
up is that in Your Place or Mine, Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon kiss in the movie like a long passionate kiss. So if you're gonna sign up for a movie to do that, maybe have an arm
I'm
around
not
a girl on a
saying
red
it's a
carpet.
bad thing. I'm just saying like you don't always have to. I think it's good on him to maybe be like, hey, I don't really want to. I also don't think a sex scene really adds anything to the show You. Like if we're being honest.
I don't know. Season like I would have liked a sex scene to spice it up in that season. I didn't really enjoy it. So
All right,
I
we
don't
are
know.
going on a rant, so let's move on.